What's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta, owner of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. If you're ever in Minnesota and you run into any legal issues, please look me up. We'll see what we can do. So today, I have been directed towards a new case. A case that's somewhat interesting to many people. A popular YouTuber by the name of Poppy, or That Poppy, is being sued by a formerly popular YouTuber by the name of Mars Argo for copyright infringement. And this is a little bit of a doozy. The idea is that basically the other defendant is a guy by the name of Corey Michael Mixter, known as Titanic Sinclair. And the backstory is that Titanic Sinclair was originally dating Mars Argo when she was producing YouTube content. Argo claims that the content was created as a collaboration, and after they broke up, Titanic Sinclair started dating the individual who would be known as Poppy, and Argo claims that Poppy's work is derivative or something based on Argo's character that she created along with Sinclair. Does this have any merit at all? I don't know. We'll have to see. I haven't read through all of these documents. I did a skim through them to kind of get an idea for what the claims would be, and so that I would come in with some level of understanding about what I was going to read with you guys. But let's go through it, and we'll talk about these things as they come. As is customary for this is going to be a little bit of a longer video because it's a 44-page document. We're going to go through it. This is how the channel started, and this is what I enjoy doing, going through these lawsuits and breaking down the individual claims and just kind of looking at what's there and then what the law says about it. So as customary, I will be enjoying, let's see. You know what? I'm going to open up with this Balmore 15. Darkest. Strongly recommend this stuff. It's an Islay Scotch, which are typically peaty and smoky, but this one is not heavy on peat or smoke. There's a little bit in there, but it's really good. It has a nice chocolatey sweet finish. It's very smooth. It's reasonably priced. Very good. Does have a little smoke. A little bit kicks through at the end. Okay, so let's get into this. This complaint is for copyright infringement, common law right of public policy, or common law right of publicity, violation of California's unfair business laws, and domestic violence damages. So we're gonna, we'll check out all of these as we go, and I'll explain which each of those are as we get to them. So the plaintiff is Brittany Alexandria Sheets. That is what, Mars Argo. And let me do some disclaimers here, so that in case anybody's worried about what my biases might be. I know nothing about any of these people. I don't know anything about Poppy. I don't know anything about Mars Argo. I don't know anything about Titanic Sinclair. I have briefly reviewed a couple of their videos. It's not my thing. I know a lot of people who like Poppy, and I know at least one person who likes Mars Argo, but I haven't done extensive background research on the people I know for this. But you know, I have no dog in this hunt, we'll say. Okay, so plaintiff Brittany Alexandria Sheets is an actress and recording artist known by the alter ego and stage name Mars Argo. Miss Sheets is originally from Saginaw, Michigan, and in 2008 met a local man named Corey Mixter. Two began a romantic relationship and also began pursuing creative endeavors together. They subsequently moved together to Chicago and then to Los Angeles. In addition to being the alter ego of plaintiff Brittany Sheets, Mars Argo also is the name of a musical project between Miss Sheets and Mr. Mixter, who is known by his alter ego of Titanic Sinclair. I need an alter ego, I think, with a cool name. Like, that world is beyond me. In 2009, Miss Sheets and Mr. Mixter began making music in their bedroom and releasing videos of their performances on their YouTube channel called grocerybag.tv. All of the content on the channel was self-produced and consisted of short films, music videos, and a show called Computer Show. The channel was active from 2009 through 2015, and roughly 92 videos were released during that time. In addition to producing and publishing content through their YouTube channel, in early 2012, Mars Argo began performing live stage shows and performing for audiences at venues across the country. Although Mars Argo was growing in popularity during this time, Miss Sheets was living in a nightmare, and behind closed doors, she was enduring severe emotional and psychological abuse and manipulation from Mr. Mixter. In January 2014, after confronting Mr. Mixter about his recurrent infidelity, Miss Sheets ended her relationship with Mr. Mixter and asked that their association become strictly professional. However, Mr. Mixter did not honor Miss Sheets' request. Following the end of their romantic relationship, Mr. Mixter began to repeatedly harass, stalk, threaten, and abuse Miss Sheets, including but not limited to threatening to commit suicide, repeatedly showing up unannounced at Miss Sheets' doorstep, breaking into her apartment, stalking her every move on social media, disparaging her to mutual friends, acquaintances, and others in the industry, and even physically assaulting her. Despite Mr. Mixter's abusive behavior, Miss Sheets was hesitant to end their professional association because she had worked so hard to build Mars Argo and the project was gaining notoriety. In mid-2014, however, the abuse and manipulation from Mr. Mixter became too much, and Miss Sheets stopped making new content with him. Upon losing Miss Sheets, Mr. Mixter's intimidation only intensified. Finally, in late 2015, Miss Sheets decided she had no option but to leave Los Angeles to try to protect herself from Mr. Mixter's threats and harassment. Around the same time that Mr. Mixter had been actively harassing Miss Sheets in November 2014, Mr. Mixter calculatedly transformed another woman, Mariah Rose Pereira, known by the stage name That Poppy or I'm Poppy, collectively Poppy, into a Mars Argo knockoff. Although Poppy was a natural brunette, after meeting Mr. Mixter, Miss Pereira dyed her hair a specific platinum blonde and, in character as Poppy, started to alter her voice to be a pitch higher to mimic Mars Argo's distinctive speaking voice. Mr. Mixter and Miss Pereira began to produce short segments on a YouTube channel that were set against substantially similar backdrops and in a deliberately similar format to the Mars Argo project. From November of 2014 to the present, through the Poppy Project, Mr. Mixter and Miss Pereira as Poppy deliberately copied Mars Argo's identity, likeness, expression of ideas, sound, style, and aesthetic in YouTube segments. Music videos, live performances, internet videos, and other performances or shows. These actions constitute copyright infringement. Okay. A violation of Miss Sheets' right to publicity. And a violation of the California Business and Professions Code, Section 17200 et sequens. Moreover, by combining that infringement with a sinister campaign of harassment, Mr. Mixter attempted to drive Miss Sheets out of the entertainment business, not only stealing her intellectual property, but appropriating her entire persona. That's a problem, maybe. Like many women, Miss Sheets has previously been afraid to come forward with her story. She feared retribution and retaliation from Mr. Mixter, including further public disparagement and renewed intimidation of professional and personal acquaintances. Miss Sheets also continues to fear for her own personal safety, given Mr. Mixter's violent, menacing, and unstable conduct following their breakup. Miss Sheets realizes, however, that the only way to gain freedom from Mr. Mixter and to move forward both professionally and personally is to hold him and his enablers accountable and seek protection from the court. This is a little expository, I think. The only way to gain freedom. Like, that's telling a story. That's not presenting a fact. So this complaint seeks damages from Mr. Mixter both for his personal abuse of Miss Sheets and from Mr. Mixter and from his company in copying Mars Argo's identity, likeness, and expression of ideas as part of his work with the artist Poppy, and for blatant and willful infringement of Mars Argo's copyright. In addition, given Mr. Mixter's past history of abuse, Miss Sheets is simultaneously seeking a domestic violence restraining order against Mr. Mixter in state court during the pendency of this litigation, so Miss Sheets is protected from further retaliation and abuse as a result of this lawsuit. Additionally, Miss Sheets seeks damages from Miss Pereira for being a knowing accomplice to Mr. Mixter's unlawful actions in deliberately copying, stealing, and appropriating Ms. Sheets' identity, style, aesthetic, likeness, expression of ideas, content, and work as Mars Argo in her own work as Poppy. Okay, there's a lot to digest there. Let me lay out some preliminary things real quick. You cannot copyright a persona. Persona, identity, likeness, these things are intrinsic. They're not created, so to speak. At least that's how the court looks at them. So using the word persona is a strange choice. Using things like identity and likeness are a strange choice. Those aren't copywritten things. The image of the persona, I suppose, can be a copyrighted work, right? You can still copyright pictures, music videos, things like that, but the actual underlying persona is not a copywritten thing. So just because someone walks around dressed up in a particular way, even if it's wholly unique in their creation, but that's their identity, that's who they are, you can't really copyright that. You can take a photo of it, you can create a character and put that to screen or film or something and record it, and then that recording of that character can become a copyrighted work from which you can judge derivative works. And that's probably the theory they're going for. But the underlying persona element of it isn't copyrightable in and of itself, okay? So the character that they create isn't necessarily copywritten. The copywritten work is going to be limited to the videos that they recorded or the other content that was produced, or maybe the any live performances that were recorded as well. So jurisdiction and venue, this is an action for copyright infringement arising under the Copyright Act of 1976. The court has subject matter jurisdiction under 17 U.S.C. 501. This is brought in California District Court. So this is a federal court, and you have to have federal jurisdiction for the Copyright Act. Venue is proper in this district because defendants Mixter and Pereira reside in this district, may be found in this district, and are subject to personal jurisdiction in this district. Mixter and Pereira also have substantial and continuous ties to this district. Court has personal jurisdiction over defendant Mixter because, among other things, Mixter transacts business and works in this district, engaged in wrongdoing in this district, and resides in this district. So that's, I mean, assuming those three things are true, any one of them is sufficient to establish jurisdiction. Personal jurisdiction over Pereira because, among other things, Poppy transacts business and works in this district, engaged in wrongdoing in this district, and resides in this district. So same thing. Parties. Plaintiff in this action is Brittany Alexandria Sheets, an individual who is now, and at various times relevant, was a resident of Los Angeles, California. Plaintiff is informed and believes that Mr. Mixter is and was at all relevant times an individual and resident of the County of Los Angeles, State of California. Defendant Corey Mixter goes by the professional name of Titanic Sinclair and describes himself on his website as Titanic Sinclair, his website TitanicSinclairBandcamp.com as, quote, a LA-based audio and visual artist. Should be Ann LA-based, but whatever. And on his website, TitanicSinclair.com, as a director, writer living in LA. Defendant Titanic Sinclair Productions Incorporated is a California corporation that filed articles of incorporation on or around April 10th, 2017. A December 5th, 2017 State of California Statement of Information lists defendant Mixter as the Chief Executive Officer, Secretary, Chief Financial Officer, and Director of the corporation. The corporation business type is entertainment services. Defendant Mariah Rose Pereira goes by the professional name Poppy, a.k.a. That Poppy, a.k.a. I'm Poppy. Plaintiff is informed and believes that Ms. Pereira is and was at all relevant times an individual and resident of the County of Los Angeles, State of California. Defendant I Am Poppy Incorporated is a California corporation that filed articles of incorporation on or around July 11th, 2017 and August 2017. 2017, sorry. State of California Statement of Information lists defendant Pereira as CEO, Secretary, CFO, and Director of the corporation. Corporation business type is entertainment services. So here is the background, because the original stuff was just the introduction. Subheading is Ms. Sheets and Mr. Mixter began Mars Argo in 2009 and created original content for Mars Argo until 2014. Mars Argo is the alter ego of singer, actress, YouTube artist, and personality Brittany Sheets. It is also the name of the musical project between Miss Sheets and Corey Mixter, who is known by his alter ego, Titanic Sinclair. Man, you've said this like 100 times. We get it. Sheets and Mixter began dating in 2008. In 2009, Sheets and Mixter began making music in their bedroom and released content on their YouTube channel called GroceryBag.tv. All the content on the channel was self-produced and consisted of short films, music videos, a show called Computer Show. Channel was active from 2009 through 2015. Roughly 92 videos were released while still active. The videos were an artistic, social commentary on the internet, celebrity, and pop culture with a focus on the future and technology. Throughout this time, Miss Sheets created, developed, participated in, and contributed to Mars Argo content, scripts, directing, lighting, framing, filming, editing, motion graphics, color correction, hair, makeup, wardrobe, styling, sound design, lyrical composition, and imaging and branding for Mars Argo video, songs, recordings, and performances. Miss Sheets' photography was largely responsible for the look in quotes, of Mars Argo, and Mixter continues to appropriate that work to this day. So if you're new to this, these types of conclusions, Mixter continues to appropriate. Appropriate is a legal conclusion. Those things are ignored. Saying he appropriates this is a question for the court. That's what they're asking the court to find, that he's appropriating or misappropriating this work. So that's part of the facts that they're, or the findings of fact and conclusions of law that they're trying to find. This would be ignored by the court. The court would have to determine this on its own. In addition to her creative contributions throughout their personal and professional relationship, Mr. Mixter was essentially insolvent, relying on constant financial support from Sheets and her family. That seems like a bad plan. In late 2012, early 2013, Sheets and Mixter moved to Los Angeles and auditioned new members for their band to perform live shows in addition to producing internet content. When they moved to LA, Sheets and Mixter shared an apartment. Around this time in early 2013, Sheets and Mixter received a loan from Sheets' father, Don Sheets, to fund the Mars Argo project. As part of the loan, Miss Sheets, Don Sheets, and Mixter formed the Mars Argo LLC, a limited liability company in the state of Michigan, in which Don Sheets became an 83.3% owner of Mars Argo LLC, with Brittany Sheets and Corey Mixter each respectively owning 8.3% of Mars Argo LLC. Mars Argo LLC was also was incorporated in Los Angeles in March 2013. The purpose of Mars Argo LLC was to develop the Mars Argo brand to generate revenue from a variety of sources, including royalty, retail sales, licensing revenue, and appearance fees. Although the band Mars Argo grew in popularity during this time, Sheets was enduring severe emotional and psychological abuse and manipulation from Mixter. He constantly insulted her intellect and denigrated and degraded her in public and in private. He repeatedly told her that she was getting old and that she needed him to be successful in her career. He created a sense that she was running out of time, that her only solution was to finance the project and create content for it. And I mean, is he wrong there? I don't know. If your image is part of your, is part of your brand, then that image is a depreciating asset at that point. Sorry. People tend to get less attractive as they get older, outside of rare exceptions. Unsurprisingly, a review of Mars Argo songs from the time shows that many lyrics were related to the controlling nature of the relationship with Mixter. I mean, were they? I don't know. Like, I don't know anything about it, but lines like that are problematic because at the time, were they? Did they come out and talk about this ever? Or is that just stated now after the fact to try and prejudice the court against Mixter? It's hard to say. Sheets believes that Mixter deliberately sought to shatter her self-confidence so that she would not pursue any individual creative opportunities and would instead continue to support him both creatively and financially. Okay. If Sheets had an opportunity to collaborate on an outside project, Mixter would belittle the opportunity and speak poorly of the person or project so that Miss Sheets would in turn feel doubt or distrust. Mixter would then advise her on how to respond to the opportunity or even take it upon himself to draft a response for her to turn down the project. I mean, okay, but you're asserting essentially that he's a co-owner of the brand. So I'm not sure how that would be a problem. Do you have an operating agreement for the LLC? I don't know. Finally, in January 2014, after confronting Mixter about his recurrent infidelity, Sheets ended the romantic relationship with Mixter and shortly thereafter asked him to move out of the apartment they shared. However, they continued to work together professionally due to Mars Argo's rising popularity and upcoming live shows the band had scheduled. They also had recently shot the music video for the single Using You with a Grammy Award nominee for Producer of the Year and were in the process of editing the video. Shortly thereafter, in February 2014, Mars Argo released Delete Your Facebook on GroceryBag.tv. During this time, the band Mars Argo continued to gain a cult following, and in March 2014, Mars Argo performed 3 successful showcases at the South by Southwest Festival in Austin, Texas. Thereafter, Mars Argo continued to perform shows including at the Nerd Melt Theater in Los Angeles, California. Because of Mars Argo's rising success, Sheets attempted to maintain a working relationship with Mixter, but found it increasingly difficult due to his emotionally abusive, demeaning, and manipulative conduct. This behavior by Mixter was witnessed by others, including friends, neighbors, and Mars Argo band members. As a result, on May 31st, 2014, Sheets and Argo canceled their first show at the Belly of the Beast Blowout Festival in Los Angeles, California. In June 2014, Sheets put the band on hiatus from rehearsals and performances. Thereafter, Mixter's abusive conduct only grew worse. Around this time, Mixter began frequently breaking into Miss Sheets' gated apartment building and would wait for her in the courtyard of the building until she got home. Around the same time, in 2014, Mixter met Mariah Rose Pereira, known by her stage name at the time, That Poppy, Now Poppy, through a mutual friend. At the time, Poppy was a brunette with dark brown hair. Titanic, Sinclair. Okay, so they put this picture in here. Oh, and that's supposed to be Poppy with her brown hair. Very important. Miss Sheets is informed and believes that Mixter and Pereira began working together a few months after meeting, although Sheets was unaware of it at that time. Soon thereafter, Pereira began to sport a shorter, blonde hairstyle resembling that of Miss Sheets at the time. Looking back on social media comments, it appears Miss Mars Argo fans immediately noticed. Okay. You replaced her. Poppy effing sucks. I want Britney. Poppy. Okay. It doesn't, I mean, I guess. That they're saying that's not you. So that's weird. In August 2014, Sheets requested that Mixter not contact her going forward. However, throughout August and September 2014, Mixter continued to contact Sheets against her wishes, including sending a text message threatening his own suicide. Mixter also continued to break into Sheets' gated apartment complex to wait for her in the courtyard. On one afternoon, September 2014, Sheets found Mixter sitting in her courtyard, and he seemed jittery. He demanded that she delete all of the videos on their YouTube channel. His behavior and mannerisms frightened Sheets, who immediately changed the passwords to the GroceryBag.tv YouTube account to protect their work. Sheets had always been the one responsible for monitoring and managing the account, so it was not unusual for her to access the channel. That's interesting, though, because he's co-owner. So I don't know. Whatever. That's not on trial here, but that could be an interesting cross-claim if Mixter says you stole the work we created together and wasted it. So I don't know. Mixter begins to copy the Mars Argo project with Poppy and to increasingly threaten and attack Miss Sheets. In November 2014, Mixter started releasing videos with Poppy. The first video release was entitled Poppy Eats Cotton Candy. When Sheets originally met Poppy, she had short brown hair and looked extremely different than how she appears today. Once Poppy began working with Mixter, however, she started sporting a blonde bob, and her natural voice was altered in videos to be a pitch higher to sound like Mars Argo. In addition to copying the look of Miss Sheets, the aesthetic of the Poppy videos also is similar to that of Mars Argo. Like Mars Argo, most Poppy videos had a plain white-hued backdrop, were framed like a portrait with the main subject in the middle of the frame. Are you gonna argue that that's copywritten? That a white backdrop with a portrait style and the main subject in the middle is yours? Poppy would tilt her head to the camera, and the videos had a colorful, childlike, kawaii pop culture effect. Kawaii is the culture of cuteness in Japan. Then you didn't create that. Okay, so brief side note. To claim copyright of a work, you can only claim copyright of the things you create or modify if it's derivative of anything else. So if you're saying that kawaii is a culture of cuteness in Japan, and that's the aesthetic and pop effect that you're looking for and creating and using, having someone else utilize that kawaii effect is admitting that they're doing something derivative of something you did but that's derivative of something else. So they're not copying your work, they're copying the previously derivative creation, or the previously created work that you're derivative of. So this is damaging to the claim. Both Mars, Argo, and Poppy are often described as having a doll-like quality. And having a doll-like quality isn't original either. I think it goes right along with that kawaii culture. Around the same, I'm pronouncing it kawaii, which would be like how you would pronounce it in Hawaii. I don't know if that's actually correct. I don't speak cute Japanese. Around the same time, Mixter released his first work with Poppy on November 9th, 2014. Mixter broke into Miss Sheets' apartment through her bedroom window in the middle of the night. They went walking in their sleep. He was obviously intoxicated or high on drugs. Sheets asked him to leave and go home. Sheets photographed the broken window. We'll talk about the abuse and stuff in a little bit. There's a problem with the abuse claims, we'll say. A few weeks later, Mixter broke into Sheets' apartment when she was not home and went to her computer to log into her Facebook account and block new friends of hers. Sheets discovered this only later when she tried to communicate with the blocked individuals. Because Sheets had worked so hard to create the Using You music video as Mars Argo, on January 13, 2015, she released the video. That same day, Mixter also posted the video on his Instagram. Shortly thereafter, Mixter once again broke into Sheets' apartment while seemingly intoxicated and began smashing her wine glasses one by one. He said he was angry that Sheets had joined some Facebook group and repeatedly asked her for the name of that group. In addition to breaking into her home, Mixter continually tracked Sheets' social media postings and would either contact her shortly after she posted or thereafter post his own social media and reference the places or things she had discussed online. Sheets began to feel like Mixter was monitoring her every move. In March 2015, Mixter, aka Titanic Sinclair, began shooting. Just pick one and stick with it. Either Mixter or Sinclair or whatever. Just pick one and stick with it because it's annoying. Began shooting the music video for a song called Trust Fund. All of the lyrics of Trust Fund are an obvious jab at Sheets and her family's wealth. The song was later released in May 2015. A copy of the lyrics to Trust Fund is attached here too as Exhibit A and incorporated by reference into the complaint. On April 2nd, 2015, Mixter broke into Sheets' courtyard and texted her a picture of himself sitting outside her door on her doormat after midnight. The message was threatening and said, "You probably blocked me, so F you, you bitch. I'm publicly tweeting about our relationship. You blocked me, so I showed up." Here it is. During April 2015, Mixter sent another seemingly suicidal message to Sheets saying he wanted to see her one more time before I go. Thereafter, when Mixter learned of Sheets' plans to go into the studio to pursue a solo venture, he became violent. During the last week of April 2015, Mixter showed up unannounced and approached Sheets outside the gate to her home and viciously punched her in the face. He then followed her through the gate, through the courtyard, and to her apartment door. Sheets quickly ran inside her apartment, locked herself inside, and yelled for Mixter to leave. These actions terrified Sheets, but she was too afraid to report the incident to police out of fear that Mixter would retaliate against her in even worse ways. But it's we're almost 3 years later now. That's the problem. Shortly after the assault in May 2015, Mixter took numerous actions aimed at isolating and intimidating Sheets, including but not limited to emailing and texting her disturbing messages, writing additional lyrics about her, copying her ideas and work as Mars Argo, and posting photos he knew she would recognize. If he could not work with her, he did not want anyone else to either. Pursuant to his threat on April 2nd, 2015, to tweet about the relationship to their fans, on May 6, 2015, Mixter falsely publicly tweeted that he, quote, wrote every word of every video on grocerybag.tv. On May 7th, 2015, Mixter posted a photo on Instagram about his Trust Fund single, which he released the day that day on his own website. The photo he posted on Instagram, the album cover for Trust Fund, again, blatantly copied a concept that Sheets had confidently told Mr. Mixter while still working together. In March 2015, Sheets was working on merchandise for a solo music venture named Guppy, and one of the products that she created was heart-shaped candy that comes in a prescription bottle. That's a terrible, terrible product. Mixter had seen Miss Sheets' photograph of the candy bottle and later copied it. In May 2015, Mixter specifically used a photograph of prescription bottles as his Instagram announcement of Trust Fund. In April 2015, another artist with whom Titanic Sinclair was working at the time had a show and sold a prescription bottle candy. Later, Poppy too made videos and sold a prescription bottle of candy. So, I mean, I guess. So here's the picture of the bottle, if you can see it. Well, here, there's hers, candy medicine. That image, March 24th, 2015, and then here is the Instagram post, which I cannot see the date. Let's see if we can zoom in and check it. I guess it's May 3rd. 2015, something like that. Okay. Let's see what these comments say. Download my new single Trust Fund at Bandcamp. I love you. Love it. Pleasure meeting you last night, man. It's really great. Makes me so happy that you're making new music. Please keep it up. I told my mom you guys broke up and she said, why he got a weird name. So unhelpful. Sigh. So good. Can't read that one very well. Here's the problem. Like, prescription bottles arranged differently than this prescription candy isn't a copyrighted work or necessarily a derivative work at all. There's nothing about this that you would necessarily associate with this outside of the context of knowing specifically that those are a thing. Like a prescription bottles are not your copyrighted work. So I don't think this is derivative of this photo. Even if it was, I don't think you could prove that it was. The same day he posted Trust Fund Instagram photo on May 7th. Okay, so it said May 7th. Mixter, aka Titanic Sinclair, also released the song Guppy, and intentionally titled the track with the name of the new solo project that Sheets had been working on before she had a chance to release her project. Because of these actions, Sheets eventually decided to abandon her project. Well, I mean, okay. The lyrics to the song Guppy by Mixter are another blatant stab at Sheets and, among other things, referenced her father's money in their relationship. A copy of the lyrics are attached here to as Exhibit B to the complaint and are incorporated by reference into the complaint. On or around May 10th, Poppy posted a photo taken by Mixter in which she is wearing Miss Sheets' jacket. Poppy now not only looked like and sounded like Mars Argo, but was wearing her actual clothes. That's not illegal. Like, this is not a copy of this photo. You did not create the jacket. You're not the first person to wear a leopard print jacket. So that isn't actionable at all. Presumably, I mean, it could be if she had the exact same thing and was trying to pass it off as her. It could be, but like, these two photos are not evidence of unlawful activity. Presumably seeking to manipulate Sheets into speaking with him on the following day, May 11th, Mixter sent Sheets a text about potential drug overdose saying, just took 11 oxys later, followed by gibberish. His text messages were erratic and frightening. I mean, I guess if you took 11 oxys, they would be erratic and frightening. On May 14th, 2015, Mixter then emailed a direct threat to Sheets saying, you don't even realize the hole you are digging yourself into. That is not a direct threat. That's not a threat at all. Threats are legal conclusions. That is not evidence of any threat. I don't know what, you're not even alleging what the threat is, but this is not a threat. That's a statement. That's an opinion. That is not a threat. That's not actionable. It doesn't even say, I will bury you in the ground, which is also likely not a threat. threats are very specific. They have to be very specific because speech has to be protected. So they're very careful about what speech constitutes an actual threat. Throughout June 2015, Mixter continued to send threatening emails to Sheets, along with demeaning and untrue messages about Sheets to other people with whom she was in communication. You should include those. I mean, if that's part of your claim, include them. Although there's a reason you're not. It's because all of this is outside the statute of limitations. We're going to talk about that when we get to the abuse claim. But that's a spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. She's way past statute of limitations on all this stuff. For the abuse and the threats. Copyright doesn't have a statute of limitations. Well, I mean, it does, but it's like 70 years. Okay, so we're not there yet. September 2015, Mixter posted a creepy, distorted drawing of Sheets' mother, Diane, to his Instagram saying, "I drew my mom, Diane, tonight. I miss my mom." Mixter's mother is not named Diane. So, finally, in December 2015, feeling not only harassed and in danger, but that all of her creative output was being sourced for Mixter's projects and the Poppy storyline, Sheets largely stopped posting online as Mars Argo, including Instagram, Facebook, which had been her direct avenue to communicate with her fans. At this time, Sheets believed that the only way for her to avoid Mixter was to hide her whereabouts from him, isolate herself from former friends and acquaintances that Mixter kept in contact with, and essentially disappear so that Mixter could no longer belittle, abuse, stalk, threaten, harass, or find her. Look, this is sad, but the time is against you. Despite Sheets' absence, Mixter continued to demean Sheets on social media throughout 2016 and 2017, including the following untrue, false, and derogatory statements. Calling Sheets a complete nutcase. Well, that's not... I mean, that's an opinion. That's not an actionable statement. Saying Sheets gave up. Okay. Claiming that he designed everything and wrote, produced songs relating to Mars Argo. That could be a false statement. I'm not sure it's actionable. Calling Sheets evil. It's an opinion. You can call people evil online. Stating, "How does it feel knowing I wrote every word you've ever heard her say?" Claiming she wrote about 10% of the words. I wrote all the music. So those are contradictory, but anyway. Describing Sheets as a spoiled rich kid who quit because success was too much work, claiming he invented Mars Argo, claiming none of the songs were her original composition, and calling Sheets a compulsive liar. As a result of Mixter's actions, Sheets has been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, for which she has received regular treatment. How that is relevant here is beyond me. There's no infliction of emotional distress claim that is listed, so this should be ignored as irrelevant to the copyright claim. As Poppy grows in popularity, numerous fans and commentators note substantial similarities to Mars Argo. When the Argo project ended, Mixter transformed Poppy into a new Mars Argo and directly copied the content, style, aesthetic, sound, and expression of ideas of Sheets. Sheets is informed and believes that Mixter wanted to displace Mars Argo with Poppy, just like Mars Argo, constant themes of Poppy related to the internet, celebrity, and pop culture with a focus on the future and technology. Like, that's not your sole avenue. Like, you don't get to own those avenues, those themes. Like, you don't get to own them as part of your thing. Other people can comment on those things. Oh, goodness. Okay. Over the years, many followers of both Mars Argo and Poppy have publicly commented on how Poppy is copying Mars Argo. One typical comment refers to Poppy as a complete copycat. For example, on or around February 11th, 2014, Argo released the Delete Your Facebook video on GroceryBag.tv YouTube channel. On or around 2013, Poppy uploaded a video with the same title, Delete Your Facebook, and released it to her YouTube channel. Okay, here's a problem. Titles of work are not subject to copyright protection. They're just not. So that's an initial problem. I'm not going to go through the case law because this video will already be too long for that. But notice the work itself is not similar, is not copying the other thing at all. Just the title, and the title is not subject to copyright protection. In April 2014, Sheets began studying Japanese language at the Fuji School in downtown Los Angeles. Later in 2015, Sheets stopped attending when Mixter and Pereira became students there as well. Okay. In July 2015, sheets modeled for the brand called Little Sunny Bite, based out of Tokyo, Japan. The work was published in Nylon Japan magazine and in promotional materials for the brand. Mars, Argo, and then Poppy Copy. So if any of you are fans of Trump out there, one thing he does effectively is branding people with a pithy phrase. So here's what they've done in this complaint, copying Trump style. I think Trump should sue them for copyright infringement, but calling her Poppy Copy is rhymey, it's catchy, and it will stick as a good branding method. Good job. Those skirts are different. Will note she's also not wearing a hat. The angle and composition of the photo is different. Taking a portrait style photo of someone, probably not copyrighted work. The style on the skirt is different. The blouse is similar, but has a different sleeve cut. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fashionista. These are similar color schemes between the shirt and skirt, but they're not the same, and the photo composition is different. I'm not a photographer, though. I'm not a creative person in that way. On the left is a photograph of Sheets wearing a blue skirt by the brand and long sleeve white button-down shirt. On the right is a photograph of Poppy largely copying this same look, wearing a blue skirt with a long sleeve white button-down shirt. But you don't own blue skirts and white button-down shirts. That was modeling work for a brand. So who created this work is not you. So you don't actually probably own the copyright of this photo. You didn't take it. And I'm sure the brand itself owns the right to this photo and would have to be the one to assert it. I'm not sure. I guess they could have given you the rights, but I highly doubt it. Not so coincidentally, in mid to late 2017, Poppy worked with the Little Sunny Bite brand. Okay. Similarly, Argo would regularly wear Sanrio Hello Kitty items in her video. Later, Poppy became the face of Sanrio Hello Kitty in 2017. Those aren't yours. You can't claim copyright in other people's brands, especially if they hire her later. On or around August 27, 2015, Poppy performed at Island Records, Island Life, New York City, with Mixer and visually copied Argo's look, including wearing angel wings. Those dresses are significantly different. This one's white, this one's blue, and you don't own angel wings. One, yours are pink, hers are not. Victoria's Secret owns angel wings if anyone does, but I don't think anyone owns angel wings in artistic performances. You don't get that. Lots of people have used angel wings in performances before. Again, even if this is intentionally them copying you, you don't own these works. They're derivative of other works before you. Like, you didn't invent this look. 2016 Poppy YouTube video also directly copied a Mars Argo photograph in which Mars Argo had blood dripping out of her mouth. As Mars Argo, Miss Sheets had also previously created a video in which she had blood pouring out of her mouth. That's derivative of the vampire mythos. You don't own that. You even have the black... You have a black sweater. She has a black shimmery thing. This aesthetic isn't owned or created by you at all. Mixer also directed the Poppy Lowlife music video and ripped off a concept about a red devil with horns that Sheets had mentioned. You didn't create a red devil with horns. No way are you going to claim creation of a red devil with horns. Had mentioned to Mixter while the two were creating content for Argo and understood that Mixter was only privy to such materials for his work with Argo. The devil in photos Sheets showed to Mr. Mixter. These are someone else's work. Are almost identical to the devil in Poppy's video. Like, you don't own this. Look, you found these photos unless you took them, but these photos look much older than you. You took this. Your work was derivative of this. They can do derivative work of that if you could do derivative work of that. But probably no one owns a red devil with horns goatee look. That's a common appearance for Lucifer. The lowlife video was later released in July 2015. Oh, it had the exact... Okay, so hard on. Yeah, the exact same hand gesture. Again, this work, if anything, is infringing on this photo, not your work. You didn't do this. The lowlife video was later released in July, and Sheets learned that the concept she shared had been stolen. That's not... You stole the concept! Poppy similarly herself has copied Argo's distinctive hand gestures and lighting while performing. Okay. Down to holding her fingers together with hands flared out at a 90-degree angle. Like, with pinkish hued backlight providing an ethereal effect. You didn't create this. Oh my gosh. Like, guys, I didn't realize how delusional the idea that this person created this. First of all, I don't know who took these photos, but the photo taker would be the owner of the copyright in both of them. The image here, this is a completely different outfit and image to this one. If you're saying you own like backcast purple pink lighting, like you don't. Rock bands have been doing this for decades. Oh goodness. Poppy and the hand, like owning a hand gesture is a big stretch. Poppy has further copied Argo's use of the curtsy while wearing all white, presumably as a commentary on innocence and propriety. You didn't create the curtsy or wearing all white or curtsying during it or the symbolism of using white as innocence and propriety. These two images are not the same thing. They're not. I'm sorry. This is a style you don't own. You used. There are numerous other examples of Titanic, Sinclair's, and Poppy's use of Mars Argo's prior work, ideas, aesthetic, and style. That's because you're all borrowing from the same source material. That's not you creating. That's you borrowing. In 2013-2014, Argo often dressed in bunny costume or wore bunny ears during segments. No one else has ever done this. Playboy owns bunny ears before you do any day. In 2016, Poppy similarly both wore bunny ears headband during one YouTube segment and dressed like a bunny-like costume in another. Those ears are different style. The outfits are different. This isn't a copy. This isn't a derivative work of anything you created. Bunny headbands existed long before Mars Argo. Poppy even did one YouTube segment where she blows up the very same, or if not same, identical. Okay, if not the exact same one, the identical inflatable plastic white bunny that Sheets purchased and used as a prop in her own Argo YouTube videos. So, after a blonde, Argo uploaded a YouTube segment of her in a light-colored bathtub filled with bubble bath set against a baby pink backdrop. A blonde that Poppy later released an EP on Island Records entitled Bubble Bath, in which she is in a light-colored bathtub set against a baby pink backdrop. This one's a little stronger. But I mean, what is the rest of the work the same thing? Like owning a, first of all bathtubs just about are light colored. Like white porcelain bathtub is not unique, and you didn't create that. And a baby pink backdrop you didn't create either. And lots of people have used white on pink. This is tough. Poppy's copying of Mars Argo continued in February 2017 when Poppy posted a YouTube segment that reproduced a prior Argo YouTube video. The Poppy video features Poppy holding a large bag of brand name potato chips and other commercial products and tasting them while looking directly at the camera. The concept, action, line delivery, and editing style employed in this video were virtually identical to a Mars Argo segment posted on the GroceryBag.tv channel in 2013. Okay, possibly this would be derivative work, but derivative of this. But the framing's different in the sense that here the bag is in a different spot. There's no microphone. You have different products. People tasting things and talking to a camera. I don't think you own that. The line delivering, editing style, maybe. Poppy's imitations of Argo went so far as to even copy Mars Argo's unique style of makeup, such as shown in the photo below, in which Miss Sheets would wear white eyeliner on her waterline and a distinctive blue eyeliner underneath her lower lashes. On the left, Mars Argo, on the right is Poppy. Lady, you're copying Britney Spears. If I didn't know that this was Poppy and you just took the eyes, I would actually think that was a Britney Spears knockoff way before you, because that... I mean, Spears and Christina. I guess you guys were too young when Spears and Christina came out, but they had that look before you. Notably, the name of the original Mars Argo project on its YouTube channel was The Computer Show, and Poppy's debut album and tour were entitled Poppy.Computer. Those aren't the same, and you don't have copyright in titles. You can trademark a title. That's a trademark area. It's not a copyright issue. Taken together, each of these instances, and there are many others, cannot be dismissed as mere coincidence. But the question isn't, are they coincidental or not? The question is, do you own the work? And I don't think you own any of the work you've claimed so far. The evidence that you've provided is derivative of other things that you didn't create. And your spin on it, I think the best case is this. But that's relying on the statements about the line delivery and editing style enjoyed in the video. And I'm not looking at these two videos. I've just got this screen grab, and taking this as true, maybe this infringes copyright, but this other stuff doesn't. They show a clear, repeated, and willful pattern of copying and stealing Sheets' work, content, identity, style, aesthetic, likeness, and expressions of ideas as Mars Argo. And most of this stuff isn't actually copyrightable. Identity isn't copyrightable. Style and aesthetic can be in particular mediums, but not in general. A likeness isn't copyrightable. That would be something different. An expression of ideas. An expression of ideas isn't copyrightable either. Copyright is limited to the tangible work, the tangible recording of a creative work. Okay? So the mere expression of ideas isn't copyrightable. The recording of those ideas is what is copywritten. In fact, the two projects are so similar that in August 2016, a potential music manager that Sheets was interested in working with pulled up the Poppy Low-Life music video during a meeting with Sheets, thinking it was Sheets in the video. Yeah, that's a shame, because you had to tell them that it wasn't you. To add to the confusion to fans about that's not confusion to fans about whether the Poppy project was a continuation of Mars Argo. On November 8th, 2016, a friend of Mixter's uploaded a video entitled Everybody Wants It All, private video Sheets made as Mars Argo in 2013, to YouTube without Sheets' knowledge or consent. That's someone else, right? A friend of Mixter. The video had been made for a provocative art event in downtown Detroit in 2013 and was never intended by Sheets to be put online, especially not in 2016 when there were so many questions surrounding Argo's absence from the internet. Upon learning that the video had been posted, Sheets immediately sent an email to the individual who posted it requesting that he remove it immediately. The request was ignored. Thereafter, Sheets filed a privacy complaint via YouTube. That's not Mixter, and that's not Poppy. Because Argo has a gun in this video and puts it up to her head, many fans speculated the video showed that Argo was dead and replaced by Poppy, or that Argo was working with Poppy and Poppy was a continuation of the Argo project. On information and belief, Mixter, through his friend, purposely posted the video online to link Argo to the Poppy project and or to wrongfully imply that Mars Argo chose to end her character so that Poppy could continue it. Sheets, of course, never consented to Poppy appropriating her persona or stealing her intellectual property. But do you have any factual assertion that this happened? I mean, just saying that you believe that they did this? Like, did they meet about it? Are there emails about it? Did you hear that there was a conversation? Like, you have to assert those facts. Otherwise, you don't actually have a claim. Since the non-consensual release of the Everybody Wants It All video, Sheets further is informed and believes that Mixter and Pereira purposefully have used the disappearance of Mars Argo to their benefit by making subtle references to Argo and Poppy projects. Argo Everybody Wants It All video was exactly 3 minutes and 36 seconds long. Poppy then directly references 3 minutes and 36 seconds in her own work several times. Okay. So? Like that... I'm sorry, but that... you don't own the length of time of your work as part of your copyright. Part of what has made Poppy so successful is a mystery surrounding her. That mystery would not be possible without Argo's disappearance. Well, I mean, that's capitalizing on situations. In November 2016, an article was published in the Odyssey Online discussing Titanic, Sinclair, Mars Argo, and Poppy, and commenting on how Poppy is a carbon copy of Miss Argo. That Poppy seems to be the continuation of his project with Mars Argo, as both she and that Poppy have a bubblegum pop sound full of catchy hooks and choruses. that means your work is derivative of bubblegum pop. That doesn't mean that her work is derivative of your work. That means that both of your work is derivative of previous work. They have similar aesthetics and are both young, pretty, and blonde, the perceived American ideal. They're carbon copies of each other. That doesn't mean, one, that's carbon copies of each other. That means, I guess that's a mutual copying. But two, it's the perceived American ideal is the aesthetic that you're borrowing, apparently, according to this magazine. This isn't good evidence. In January 2017, Vice published an article about Poppy in which the reporter commented that it seems as though Poppy's character is directly based on the character of Mars Argo. A few days later, the publication Noisy also released an article speculating about the relationship between Argo and Poppy. In January 2017, Poppy released a show on Comedy Central called Internet Famous with Poppy. The show shares a striking visual resemblance to Mars Argo, which fans pointed out in comments online. Poppy imitates Mars Argo in the videos by saying variations of lines Mars Argo has said in computer show episodes in the past. Maybe, but what lines? What lines specifically does she say that are similar? Because the judge isn't going to know. And you can't just take your word for it. And how similar are they? In January 2017, the publication Motherboard posted an article about Poppy, which discussed the origin of Poppy and noted the striking resemblance to Mars Argo. Quote, starting in the late 2000s, Sinclair hosted a YouTube series called The Computer Show, along with a woman known as Mars Argo. Most of the videos from the YouTube account that hosted this show have since been deleted, but the ones that remain bear a striking resemblance to the videos on Poppy's YouTube channel. In fact, it seems as though Poppy's character is directly based on the character of Mars Argo. The author noted that during the email interview, Poppy made a point of not answering any questions about her relationship to Mars Argo. That's probably a good policy. In March 2017, the publication Logo Mag released an article that similarly talks about Poppy imitating Mars Argo, stating that Poppy both physically appears and acts in a similar manner to Mars Argo. Okay, and again, do you own the way that you act? Not really. And especially if you act in a similar way to like Japanese cute culture. So basically anime. If you're copying or emulating anime, you are not unique. Sorry to the weebs. On June 4th, 2017, a Wired magazine article stated, though Titanic says the two projects are unrelated, the timing of his first collaboration with Poppy and the crossover in themes has caused some fans to speculate that Poppy is a continuation of the Mars project, or that Poppy stole Mars's material, or an even more out there theory that Poppy is Mars. On January 24th, 2018, a Refinery29 article about Poppy commented that before Poppy was Mars Argo, described Mars Argo as a Poppy prototype, adding, it's certainly not hard to see the similarities between the two musical projects. March 5th, 2018, TheCut.com posted an article about Poppy entitled, Poppy Might Just Be the Warhol of the Internet Era, which similarly commented that Mars Argo, whom Titanic Sinclair worked with prior to Poppy, was a Poppy prototype. Guess he didn't get it right the first time. Recently, beginning in 2017, at public Poppy performances, individuals in the audience have begun yelling, "Where's Mars Argo?" The portions of concerts which fans yells, "Where's Mars Argo?" have been reposted on YouTube multiple times by fans. At one Poppy.computer tour show during the 3:36 interlude, a fan shouted, "Where's Mars Argo?" and Poppy responded, "Should we end this show early? Your choice." Instagram accounts such as That Argo Sinclair, available at that similarly linked Titanic Sinclair, Mars Argo, and Poppy together as a unit. The account includes older pictures of Miss Pereira before her transformation into the Mars Argo clone Poppy. Okay. Miss Sheets expects that Mixter will claim that he was the creative force behind Mars Argo, or that she was not a joint contributor. However, that is simply untrue. Just the opposite to this day. Mixter has Titanic Sinclair is directly copying Sheets' photography. For example, on the left is a photograph that Sheets styled, composed, and shot of Mixter in 2010. On the right is a photograph of Poppy in which Poppy is shot and composed in the same manner. It's a similar manner. It's not the same. The subject, one is a blonde female, the other is a dark-haired male wearing a headset. She's wearing a mask. They both have glockenspiels held up. They're on different notes. Are they on the same note? Maybe. It's hard to tell specifically. I'm not a music. But, like, I mean, they are similar. Is it derivative of this, or is this derivative of an art style that this could also be derivative of? Actually, I would say they're derivative of different art styles. I don't think that that's a good copy of that photo, to be honest. Because I've seen both of these. This is a little more retro. And pardon me if I'm massacring the art terms, but this looks more like 70s, 80s. This looks more like late 90s, early 2000s to me in time. But I don't know. But both of them are derivative. These are derivative works. These are not unique concepts or views. To me, I feel like I've seen both of those pictures before. Similarly, on the right is a 2012 photograph of Sheets took of Mixter wearing a white bodysuit that Sheets put and styled him in against a plain white backdrop. On the left is a photograph of Poppy in her low-life music video. I don't know how they got right and left mixed up there, but which was directed by Mixter, aka Titanic Sinclair, using a virtually identical white bodysuit against a plain white backdrop. These are not virtually identical at all. Hers has like a cinching cord, is a sheer material or satin finish material. His looks like a matte white material. God, that's not virtually identical at all. They're just white, but hers is shimmery. Similarly, Sheets shot and styled photographs such as the one below that Mixter continues to use on his websites to this day. I mean, okay. To this day, Poppy continues to work with Mixter, and they continue to copy Argo's work, content, identity, expression of ideas, and likeness. Neither Mixter nor Pereira have requested permission to use prior work, content, identity, expression of ideas, or likeness as Mars Argo. That's like a weird copy-paste of that line. And Sheets has never consented to Mixter or Pereira using this stuff. On information and belief, Mixter and Pereira know that they are infringing and copying Argo's work, as evidenced by the fact that Poppy's YouTube channel purposely blocks the use of the words Mars Argo in the comments section. I mean, that's because they don't want to distract from their own brand. Lots of people do stuff like that. On information and belief, both Mixter and Pereira have received profits from the marketing, promotion, and sale of merchandise, performances, tickets to concerts, music sales, and YouTube revenue as a result of their infringement and imitation of Sheets' work. Okay, there's the fact section. Sorry, those are long. And I'm getting kind of annoyed at all of this, so I'm going to switch to gin, because that's the appropriate drink when you're annoyed. So this is Heyman's Old Tom Gin. It was sent by a viewer, and I really like it. Shout out to Guns Beer Freedom. Thanks for that, buddy. Plaintiff incorporates herein by reference. Okay, so this is the copyright infringement claim, 17 U.S.C. 106 and 501. Plaintiff incorporates herein by reference the preceding paragraphs and this complaint as though fully set forth herein. Plaintiff is an actress and musical artist known by the alter ego and stage name Mars Argo. Between 2009 and 2014, Plaintiff created original content and performed as Argo with defendant Corey Mixter, a.k.a. Titanic Sinclair. And how many times have we seen that line in this document? Infinite. Sheets and Mixter, a.k.a. Mars Argo and Titanic Sinclair, hold 3 joint copyrights for authorship in sound recording, performance, production, music, and lyrics relating to the Linden Place EP, CD and print material, the Love in Black and White EP, compact disc and print material, and Technology is a Dead Bird EP, compact disc and printed lyrics. As evidenced by these copyrights, Sheets made substantial and valuable contributions to the Mars Argo project. Sheets' contributions to Mars Argo video, songs, recordings, and performances included photography, writing original content and scripts, improvisation, directing, lighting, framing, filming, editing, motion graphics, color correlation, hair makeup, wardrobe, styling, sound design, lyrical composition, imaging, and branding. Sheets' photography also contributed to the overall look and feel of Mars Argo. In addition, the 3 copyrights Argo also published, to the 3 copyrights, I guess is what they're trying to say, Argo also published a variety of content online and YouTube videos and segments in fixed, tangible medium. Sheets and Mixter have previously publicly stated that Argo was a shared project. As a copyright owner, Sheets is entitled to exclude others from creating work based on Argo's copyrighted work. Only based on your copyrighted work. And only if it's derivative of your copyrighted work, not based on the work that you based your copyrighted work on. This gets a little muddy, but in November 2014, Mixter as Titanic Sinclair began releasing content with Mariah Pereira as the musical artist That Poppy, also known as Poppy or I'm Poppy. The YouTube videos and other content created by Sinclair and Poppy are substantially similar in the total concept and feel of the works to the YouTube videos and other content created by Titanic Sinclair and Mars Argo. You don't tend to own a look and feel. Since November 2014, Sinclair and Poppy have released numerous such videos. Mixter has never requested permission. Pereira has never requested permission. Sinclair, as the director of Poppy videos, performances, songs, and recordings, has directly benefited financially from the infringing activity. So they're laying out the elements for infringement. In my opinion, they should have put a comment saying the elements of copyright infringement are as follows, and then shown how they linked, just to let the judge know that they're fulfilling all those elements. As director, Mixter had the right and ability to avoid infringing activity, but chose to directly copy the material, content, and expression of ideas of Argo instead of creating original content with Poppy. Indeed, because Mixter works closely with Miss Sheets for almost 8 years, Mixter had access to and knowledge of her copyrighted work. Mixter's work with Poppy is substantially similar to that of Mars Argo. Pereira also had access to Sheets' work both through the internet and her close relationship with Mixter, and Pereira has met Sheets in person on several occasions. Pereira was very aware of who Miss Sheets is and her character, work, aesthetic, and style as Mars Argo. Indeed, as illustrated by the many news articles above, Pereira knows that Argo is typically referenced alongside her whenever Poppy is discussed, and that fans still call out Mars Argo at Poppy performances. Pereira cannot claim ignorance. I mean, I think they'll simply claim that you don't own any of this. On information and belief, Pereira seeks to block the name Mars Argo from appearing in her social media comments on her social media accounts so that she can avoid references or comparisons to Sheets, aka Argo. Instead of building her own independent career, she has simply copied what Sheets worked so hard to create, except she's trying to actively distance herself from references to Mars Argo. So arguably, like the counter argument logically would be that she's trying to make it on her own without referencing Argo. So that's weird. As a joint owner of the Mars Argo project, Sheets is entitled to her shares of profits attributable to the infringing activity of Corey Mixter, a.k.a. Titanic Sinclair, and Mariah Pereira, a.k.a. Poppy, relating to Poppy projects in an amount to be proven at trial. Sheets also reserves the right to elect to recover statutory damages for infringing activity of Mixter and Pereira pursuant to 17 U.S.C. 504 and 17 U.S.C. 504 C2, and other relief allowed under the Copyright Act. Further entitled to her attorney's fees and full costs pursuant to 17 U.S.C. 505, and otherwise according to law. Mixter's and Pereira's copyright infringement of Mars Argo was willful. Mixter and Pereira knew they did not have permission to use any part of the copyrighted work, yet they substantially copied, imitated, and used Argo's copyrighted content as part of the Poppy project. Okay. Maybe it's copied. I would wager that I don't know that it would be copied so much as Sinclair just carrying on in the style that he has been using going back to the Mars Argo project. It looks like you guys have some sort of source material that you're basing this image and aesthetic on, and he looked like you guys are all just drawing from the same things. I think that this is a weak copyright claim. I can be completely wrong on this, but it doesn't look strong. The evidence cited, like if you're drafting a complaint, you should put your best possible evidence. And the best possible evidence they provided doesn't look like copies to me. Or if it is a copy, it looks like a copy of a derivative work that someone else created, or a derivative culture, right? It does not look like original work created by Argo. It just doesn't. It doesn't at all. Like that would be like saying one K-pop band is derivative of another K-pop band when all of them are just in the genre of K-pop. This looks like a genre to me, but I don't know. Common law right to publicity. This will be interesting. Plaintiff incorporates, defendants Mixter and Pereira have copied, imitated, mimicked, or otherwise used plaintiff's identity and likeness as Mars Argo as part of their work in videos, projects, and performances involving the artist Poppy. I don't think so. they're clearly branding Poppy. Poppy is a distinct brand from Argo. Whether or not she looks like Argo, the requirement for a common law right to publicity is to use the actual image or likeness of the person so as to make people think, make the customer think that that person is involved. Now, they did cite some fan theories saying that Poppy is Argo. Like, that's way... They even acknowledge that that's the farther out there theory. I mean... There's a possibility of brand confusion, but I don't think it's due to Argo's Argo's aesthetic so much as the aesthetic that Argo and Sinclair combined, used together. But that doesn't mean that they're thinking that Argo specifically is involved in this. I don't think this is a strong claim so far, but let's see. Mixter and Pereira appropriated plaintiff's identity as Mars Argo to their advantage, including for commercial purposes, and have profited as a result. The question, I think, here is, did they ever market Mars Argo? I don't think so. I think Poppy's a distinct brand that is separate from Argo. I don't think they try to market it as Argo. You said they don't even allow talk about Mars Argo on their social media and YouTube pages. How are they using Mars Argo's image or likeness if they're trying to actively distance themselves from even the mention of the name? Neither defendants Mixter nor Pereira have requested permission. Plaintiff never consented. Plaintiff has suffered past and future special damages and past and future general damages. I don't know about that. Like that's a thinner claim than the copyright claim to me, because again, all of the evidence you provided says that they don't want Mars Argo mentioned. So it's hard to say that they're using Mars Argo's name or likeness or image when they actively want Mars Argo to be away from the brand. Violation of unfair business laws. This is just a general, basically California business law says that if you do some unlawful activity, you're entitled to recover under this business and professional code. Like, yeah, all unlawful, unfair, or fraudulent business acts or practices and unfair, deceptive, untrue, or misleading advertising. So if they win on the copyright infringement or on the common law right to publicity claim, they would similarly win under this business and professional code, and they'd have a right to an injunction. So, as a direct proximate result of the tortious, unlawful, and wrongful acts and conduct of Mixter and Pereira, plaintiff has suffered past and future special damages, past and future general damages in amount according to proof at trial. Plaintiff has been damaged emotionally and financially, including but not limited to suffering from anxiety, depression, emotional distress, post-traumatic stress disorder, as well as the loss of income, employment, and career benefits. But you didn't actually include an emotional distress claim, an infliction of emotional distress, either intentional or negligent, in this cause of action. So this doesn't matter. That's not an element of proof for any of these crimes, for any of these alleged unlawful acts. Domestic violence damages. Plaintiff is a former girlfriend of defendant Mixter, and the two had a dating relationship. Plaintiff and Mixter were also formerly cohabitants who resided together in Chicago and Los Angeles. Cohabitation, absent marriage, tends to be required for domestic violence claims. During and after their relationship, Mixter emotionally, physically, and psychologically abused plaintiff, including breaking into Sheets' apartment, breaking her possessions, and assaulting Sheets physically. In 2015, he waited and punched her in the face. Okay. So under the California statute of limitations, physical assault and physical injury is a 2-year statute of limitations. So you're outside of it. You're outside of the 2-year statute of limitations. You can't bring this claim. They should easily have that dismissed. Plaintiff now seeks recovery of damages suffered as a result of the domestic violence. You can't. You're time barred. As a direct and proximate result of the unlawful conduct, here's all this stuff. But I'm sorry, you're time barred. Engaging the content as herein above alleged. Defendant Mixter acted with malice, fraud, and oppression and or in conscious disregard of plaintiff's health, rights, and well-being, intended to subject to plaintiff to unjust hardship, thereby warranting an assessment of punitive damages, except you're time barred. You're time barred on this. Prayer for relief. General and special damages in the amount to be determined at trial, including future damages that Ms. Sheets has sustained or will sustain as a result of the acts complained herein. and that Sheets be awarded any profits derived by Mixter and his companies or Pereira and her companies as a result of said acts for an accounting of and the imposition of a constructive trust with respect to defendant's work and as Poppy attributed to infringement of plaintiff's copyright or in plaintiff's election an award of statutory damages, including statutory damages for willful infringement and pre- and post-judgment interest according to the proof, punitive and exemplary damages, cost of suit including attorney's fees and statutory fees as allowed by law, and all other relief that the court deems just and proper. There we go. Exhibit A. These are the song lyrics. Aware is my trust fund. Why can't I get ahead? Because I have to work. My daddy's such a jerk for not giving me all his cash. Something I can't get off my mind. This happens to me every time I get high. I want to know what it's like to be a regular guy with a brother and a sister and mom and a father, and we all get along and we pick money off our family tree and spend it all happily. I mean, there's nothing directly linking that to Mars Argo. And again, guys, so there's a distinction to be made here. The intent behind certain acts, taking these acts on, might be a jab at Mars Argo. I'll go ahead and go as a stretch and say it is. Sure, it's a jab at her. Is this infringement on a copyright? No. Is this jab amount to some sort of actionable speech? No. It doesn't even reference her by name. Exhibit B. Guppy song lyrics. Hope you're having fun in your hotel. Hope you're having fun with my friends because we both know that you needed a vacation in La La Land. You've been working so effing hard. You probably wanted a break. You spent all year doing nothing. Now you're in New York holiday. Both know that you earned it. Your life is so effing hard. I know it must be so stressful on your father's credit card. All I ever wanted to do was love you. Like, this is just, it's just poetry. Like, it's the expression of emotion on page in reaction to circumstances. Like, this isn't actionable. This is not actionable at all. Guppy probably isn't actionable because, again, you can't copyright a title to something. Complaints and other initiating documents. Notice of electronic filing. Following transaction was entered by Umhofer Matthew. Okay, so this is just... Oh, this is the filing of the restraining order, the harassment restraining order, which, I mean, I guess if you can get it, good job, but it's 3 years old. It's 3 years old. You're still in imminent fear of danger from something he did 3 years ago that you didn't report to anybody and can't actually prove? I don't know, man. That's a tough call. Okay, so the long and short of all this, I have these laws. This is a copyright law. I don't think this is relevant. I pulled them up just in case. You guys are free to pause the video and read them. These are just irrelevant sections, in my opinion, of the copyright code. It's section 106 here is what you have exclusive rights and copyrighted works. So this talks about the rights that you have. And this is all based on derivative works. So section 2 here. And then, so the subject matter of copyright in general, I mainly copied for subsection B here. In no case does copyright protection for an original work of authorship extend to any idea, procedure, process, system, method of operation, concept, principle, or discovery, regardless of the form which is described, explained, illustrated, or embodied in such work. So, like, if conceptual copyright isn't a thing, idea copyright, we're talking about copying the concepts of the work, those aren't actually protected by copyright. Some of the stuff is certainly copyrightable. The videos that they did, the music that they wrote, that's all copywritten. They own the copyright together as joint owners in some fashion. But bringing in, like, the style gets to be a bit excessive. But you guys are free to read that if you want. Pause the video and read it. I'm not going to go through it all. It doesn't really matter. You know, reading the complaint, copyright infringement, it looks like pretty much everything you're doing is derivative work of some sort of subculture. Outside of the specific words of your songs, the specific video, like if they were reproducing the song itself, if and even then, I mean, you've got cover issues, but unless they're copying like the specific tune or melodies that were used, copying the words of the songs, you don't have a claim. If the videos were shot for shot identical, maybe, but like the theme of baby pink on a baby pink backdrop with a white bathtub in front of it, you don't own that. You don't own Japanese kawaii culture. Like those are things you don't own, like a retro art style or the 90s aesthetic art meme. Like that's what Poppy is to me. She's the aesthetic meme, I guess. The ideal American dream, like blonde and whatever it said. Those things aren't concepts that you created. They're cultural concepts that predate and will post-date your existence. The picture of the devil like is really bad because you didn't make those photos. You didn't draw those. You didn't take the photos. You didn't compose the work. You're borrowing someone else's work, and you're telling us that you're borrowing someone else's work, and then mad that they borrowed the thing that you wanted to borrow. That's not copyright. So I don't think that they have any copyright claim. I don't think they have a publicity claim because they're actively trying to distance themselves from the Mars Argo brand. They're not mentioning Mars Argo. They're not showing her pictures. It's pictures of Poppy. And just because you think they're similar doesn't mean they're actually stealing your likeness. I think that's an even weaker claim than the copyright. Unfair business laws. If the first two causes of action, either of them succeed, then you've got a cause of action under 3 that'll succeed. But other than that, I don't think, since I don't think the first 2 are valid, I don't think the third's valid. And the 4th is time barred. Like the situation that Argo describes about Sinclair being a complete tool and abusive and everything, terrible. Don't envy her at all. Don't want anyone in that situation. But you waited over 3 years to report this stuff. In most cases, in some cases, you know, you're just under 3 years, just barely. But the statute of limitations on California abuse is 2 years. And assault, it's 2 years. I'm sorry, but it is. You should have brought it a year ago if you wanted to bring these things up. You also don't state with particularity like what dates some of these things occurred, and anything that's not stated with at least some level of particularity is going to be ignored by the court. You can't just say they assaulted me in a period between this time and this time. You have to start giving us ideas on when that happened. So long and short, I don't think this lawsuit succeeds. I mean, we'll have to see what Sinclair and Pereira reply. On discovery, it may be, you know, maybe there's some discoveries with some emails back and forth saying we need to copy this, we need to do that. If it gets to discovery, I think they probably win on summary judgment, to be honest. Maybe dismissal. And this is in California. Or, well, it's in district court. So it's possible that there's an anti-slap, which would be like them, you know, saying that the other person is trying to violate their First Amendment rights of speech. But I don't know, man. I don't think this is a strong case at all. And if this is the best evidence they got, I really question it. But anyway, guys, I hope you liked the video. If you like this, please like it. You know, like the video. If you think I'm wrong or an idiot, and I'm not an artist. So if you think that the art is unique to Mars Argo and you want to tell me about how Poppy's work is derivative of Argo's, man, I will eat that up. I love to learn about fields, and I am not an artist. So tell me all about it. Debate with me. I will discuss with you and learn from you. Just from my legal perspective, it doesn't look like a derivative work of hers. It looks like a derivative of something else I've seen before. But if I'm wrong, please tell me about it. I would love to refine my opinion and learn some new things. So, you know, but if you guys know anyone who likes Poppy, share this video, please. Like, get this out there. Let's talk about these cases against YouTubers. Let's talk about any case that involves speech. Like this is about free speech, which is something that's important to me, and what actually constitutes free speech versus what constitutes copyright infringement. I'll try and keep a lookout for the reply from Mixter and Pereira. I assume maybe each of them will reply independently. They probably should do that. But who knows? So yeah, I hope you guys like this. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe and hit the notifications button. We cover lots of lawsuits out here, and if there's some content you want me to cover, please do so. Also, check the description. You can follow me on all sorts of social media from there, like Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. So thanks a bunch for watching, guys. I know this is a long video. I'm also going to release a companion, very short video, which summarizes my opinions that'll hopefully be a little more digestible and will point people to this longer video. But if they want a quick summary, I don't want to make people sit through an hour and a half. I really appreciate that you guys do sit through an hour and a half. And again, if you like these videos and you like this content, please like, share, subscribe, all of the standard YouTuber stuff. So thanks a bunch for watching. You guys have a great day. Peace.